Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to cue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back. All right, all you positive heads, welcome, welcome. Here we grow again. It is a Friday here in the studio, a fabulous Friday at that. And I'm grateful as always to be back with each and every one of you to explore what the heck's going on here in this wacky, wild life, thing called life that we are all immersed in. What am I going to talk about today? Let's see. I have some ideas about that, and we'll see what comes up. Well, one of the things a thing that just came across my reality, my eyeballs, which, by the way, I just saw this thing and it showed how we are each formed in utero, and it shows like a time lapse of the baby kind of becoming, if you will, and it shows like the brain and parts of the brain, and then the eyeballs literally emerge from the brain. They are like an extension of the brain. Isn't that interesting? So your eyeballs literally came out of your brain and are like the outer part of the brain in a sense. It's really trippy to see. It makes a lot of sense as well, right? And, something else that makes me think of something else that I saw a long time ago. One of the first things that forms, the first organ to form is the heart. And so like everything kind of starts from that. So yeah, what a trip, right? Makes a lot of sense as well. But anyway, so something that came across my brain scanners, my eyeballs, is a quote that I had not seen, or not a quote, I had seen this quote, "Do not be afraid," said in the Bible, having went to even a Christian college many moons ago. And kicked out, but that's another story. I probably shared that story at some point, I'm sure. But this idea of God, or in the Bible, it's saying, "Do not be afraid." But what I didn't realize and just saw is it says, "Do not be afraid" 365 times, supposedly in the Bible. And I saw this in a meme, and then I Googled it, and the person, reading about it, so it was supposedly confirmed. I haven't dug super deep, but isn't that interesting? 365 times, right? So it's like there's a "do not be afraid" for every day. If this is the case, it is indeed in there 365 times, and source God, the universe, higher self, as an inspiration in spirit, tied into this book and the Bible. And I would say there's so many powerful truths in there. And I think a lot of times it's just been misunderstood and misconstrued and hijacked. Definitely a lot of inspiration from my perspective, and powerful truths. So saying source has inspired these writings, and source has orchestrated this being in there 365 times. I would say that is for a very powerful reason to every day there's something to fear, right? And instead of choosing fear, we have an option, right? We have an option in every moment. Two choices: choose love or choose fear. Always choose love. Always choose love. It's so cliche and it is so true. Love is the answer now. What was the question? It's always the answer. Choose love or choose fear. That's the path. And it got me thinking today about fear, and it's something we talk about so much on the show. FEAR, forget everything and run, or face everything and rise. Another way to think about it: false evidence appearing real, or false energy appearing real, is another one that I think of. A lot of ways you can spin it, right? And it all points to the same thing. The only thing to fear, what was it? John F. Kennedy said, the only thing to fear is fear itself. The only thing, and then I believe I heard it one time said by Tony Robbins. He said, I took it a step further. The only thing to fear is the fear of fear, right? We're afraid of being afraid. I'm afraid I'm going to be in a scenario where this thing called fear takes me over, and it's chilling. I don't like it. It doesn't feel good. I'm scared of fear, right? The only thing to fear is the fear of fear. Like if it truly 365 times every day, there's things that you could choose to be fearful about. We could be fearful of, like the guy, the friend from many years ago I've talked about on the show, who would hide behind light poles at crosswalks, so just in case someone ran off the road and struck him while we're standing there. I'll never forget that. It's like just immersed in fear. And so many people are tuned into the news, which is, all about selling things based off of the fear frequency and vibration. It doesn't mean there's not truth in some of the things that they're reporting or even, dramatizing. But what is and a lot of times there's some BS in there too, but, what is the point of tapping in to, this fear vibration? And what if we shifted ourselves to think of fear like just and the good side of fear, like, I'm good. I'm glad I have a natural and healthy sense of fear when it comes to crossing the road. I'm not going to run in front of oncoming traffic when there's a green light. I'm going to use it to be cautious. I'm not going to put my hand on the hot stove. I know that's going to hurt and do damage. The dog, that's trying to bite me through the fence, I'm not going to run in and let him bite me. Like it can serve you. It's actually a great tool when in its proper context. Do not be afraid, 365 times written in the Bible, is really interesting. That, every day there's something that you could trip out on and be fearful of. What's going to happen next? Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to make the rent? Is there enough? Am I going to run out? Is my girlfriend going to leave me? Is my husband going to leave me? Is are my kids going to be safe? It's on and on and on and on and on the fear train goes. And what if you decide to reestablish your relationship with fear and to say, okay, I am going to approach my life as if I was born right now. What if you thought about in this moment, instead of all the story around what could go wrong, what's happened in the past that's holding you back, all the narrative, if you looked at it more like a child, like with that childlike wonder, like this is a game. And bringing all of the fears of the past, or even the story of the past with you about why you are where you are and why you have the amount of money you have and the limitations and the health stuff and all of that. It's all so darn malleable. Like we've heard, from our last two Soul Share guests, the last 2 weeks have shared remarkable stories of healing and abundance coming, out of nowhere. Stuff can happen that, Wayne Dyer said, be realistic, expect miracles. If you are expecting miracles and you are looking through the lens of that child who isn't scared of, life, they're looking at it as a play. And they haven't been taught yet to fear everything. Before we continue on with today's episode, I'd like to take a minute to tell you about the exclusive Dream Builder live virtual event from January 27th to 29th. If all it took was 3 short days to turn your life around, Would you feel and have the courage to do so? If so, then you won't want to miss best-selling author Mary Morrissey and her team of all-stars who will show you how to break all the rules, feel more confident, and set yourself up for enormous abundance. You'll discover how to build a new, supremely confident you in 3 short days. Super powerful beyond what you dreamed possible. Learn how to rewire your subconscious mind with tools of spiritual manifestation, raising your vibration so powerfully that life rearranges itself to help your dreams come true. Plus, you'll discover the #1 secret to achieving the fabulous new life you and everyone deserves, so you can enjoy more happiness, more wealth, more joy in every area of your life. Go to bti.com/positive and register for your free tickets with a reimbursable deposit today. Think of it like this: being dropped in right now. In this moment, you are born anew. The past is not here. It does not exist. You can show me an old video. You can tell me about it, how you remember it, which will be skewed too, by the way. The future isn't here. It truly is now. That's it. This is where all your power is. And if you can look at it as in this powerful moment of now, I was just dropped in. I'm born anew. With every breath, in between birth and death is breath. Right? And so with every breath, you're born anew. You are literally being recreated. And think, if you could shift your narrative and your perspective to think, I am born anew in this now moment. There is no story. Imagine if you were even a new soul, like this was just an avatar, like the movie, right? Boom, dropped in. This is the scenario. This is what I'm working with. These are the tools I got. The goal is to create and affect as many others positively as possible. That is where all the reward comes from, right? Jim Carrey talked about that. That is the true highest form of currency, is how you affect others. Okay, so let's gamify this. You're dropped in. Your soul just came in. This avatar, that you got the body you came in with, the tools around you, the car that you got, the job, or the car that you don't have, or the job that you have, or the job that you don't have. Tons of money you do have, tons of money you don't have. Whatever it is, it's just the scenario with which this brand new now moment that only is going forward, right? You're not going to ever go past. So why are you spending any energy on that? And it's all about navigating forward with what you got. And it's a game to make the most of it. And you're going to get the furthest in the game if the core intention is to find a way to be of service. The sun doesn't shine for itself. The river doesn't flow for itself. The tree doesn't provide shade for itself. That's how nature moves. And you are nature. You are, some would argue, the pinnacle of nature on this planet. You are the most advanced form of nature on this planet. Others might argue differently based off the destruction we've caused. But as it always goes, the greater the potential, the greater, the greater the light, the bigger the shadow it casts, right? So you are born in this moment. You're dropped into the scenario you find yourself. Look at it through the eyes of a child, right? Oh, here I am, dropped in. Your own version of the Avatar movie. Now, what am I going to do with it? Instead of all the story and energy and fears that, have been given to you or sold to you, or that you decided to buy, right? A lot of times we bought a story, either from culture, from society, from our parents, from our siblings, from our partners, our boss, you name it. And you've been sold a bad bill of goods a lot of times that leads to fear. And really, if 365 times, do not be afraid. If you just are brave and can tap into courage, that's where all the alchemy and transformation is going to come from. It is that person that is like, even though fear may come up, you let courage take the seat in front of it. And then that's where you overcome the fear and you transmute it. And you start looking like the note from the universe that I got the other day, a really good PS. There's always a note and then there's a PS. And I'll just go ahead and read the whole thing. It said, I wish I could tell you, Brandon, how beautiful life really is, how safe you always are, and of the love that constantly bathes you. how powerful you are, how much you can have, and the glories that await, of the perfection, the magic, and the infinite possibilities that fill your everyday. But you made me promise, no matter what, to let you discover these things for yourself. Spiritual gangsta, the universe. P.S. You always did love surprises, Brandon, and wow, are you gonna love what's coming? Isn't that like, you get that childlike, ooh, it's like, a kid on Christmas, like, ooh, what's around the corner? Maybe it's gonna be a little chilling, but then out of that, there's gonna be something really beautiful and powerful, and the warmth is gonna feel that much warmer because of it. So instead of bringing this unhealthy sense of fear that racks and cripples so many of us, you are tapping in to your childlike adventure, your childlike bravery that is going to blaze trails into the next greatest and greatest version of yourself. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. The only thing to fear is the fear of fear. Let's change our relationship with this concept. Shall we? I'm in. You in? All right, here we go. Here we grow. Hope you guys have enjoyed this one today. Short and sweet. Gonna keep it. Feels right. And I do have a song to leave you with. This is a great artist I was just actually exposed to through my friend Adam. He manages this artist and also works with East Forest as well, who I played on the show. Oh, actually been a guest on the show, and I was a guest on his podcast. And the artist is Light Language. And the song is Light Worker, but it's like, I love the way they wrote it out. It's like light, WERKER. So it's like light twerker. All right, guys, twerk it away. Enjoy till next time. Love you so, so much.